they showed the future right in that demo. And so it became a little easy for us now to articulate, saying that, hey, what you saw there, we provide as an API. And that was kind of like a light bulb moment for us, that this is exactly what we need to sell to. This is the exact market segment.
In part one of our conversation with Surbhi Rathore, she told us about her company, Symbl AI, and their efforts to develop a conversational intelligence platform that can plug into any business network. In this second part of our conversation, she reveals the unlikely path she took to creating this company, and she shares some important lessons that anyone starting their own company will want to hear. Surbhi, it's great to have you back again, and now to hear your journey, a bit more on your insight of how are you innovating, how are you growing as a leader, first time leader of a tech company. How did this journey begin for you to say, yes, I'm gonna lead my own company, co-found it, and make it happen? How did that begin, and what was the first couple hurdles that you had to overcome to make that happen?
I love talking about this because I've spoken to so many people telling them all my problems throughout. So I have spent last 10 years into building and working with customers on solving problems for software applications in the telecommunication space. And that's kind of like my background. And last 3 years, I worked on the conversational AI domain. And this credit of empowering me, or even thinking, letting me think about being a founder, it goes to my previous company, Amdocs. So yeah, my boss there, like, he just funnily used to call me like, you are the CEO of our small startup here. And I was like, okay, is that like, why would I start a company? Like, honestly, I wasn't the person who has always been thinking about starting the company. Like, I wasn't that person ever. And I think it was just the opportunity, just like kind of the exposure that I got. Okay, like, handle a budget, figure out the team, do your thing. We just need dollars, and let's see how we can build this thing. And then my co-founder, who was also working on the same product, like, he was a part of multiple startups during his entire journey, but because he had failed in like a couple of times, so he knew that, okay, like, when I see the right person, I will know it. And we know each other for a long time. So it was just like him convincing me, and then Amdocs supporting me together, that led me started into the journey. But it wasn't easy. Like, when we started, we were like, we're going to build a B2C application that is going to help people take notes. That was like our starting, honestly. Like, that was how we started. And then I met Sramana Mitra, who's in the Bay Area. She runs 1M by 1M, which is a virtual accelerator. And she was like, are you crazy? You left your job. You want to build a B2C platform. You have $0 in the bank. You need to think about how you're going to support. You're a first-time founder. Surbhi, you're not getting funded, okay? So just like all the first-time founders who think they're going to go to Silicon Valley and get funded, that doesn't happen. So I spent 3 months then building my network. I used to be in meetups. I was in San Jose at that time. So, and I was in India before that. So I went from India to San Jose, moved there, and my husband was moving to Australia, Sydney. And it was like a crazy time. So 3 months in San Jose, and I focused on building my network. I was like, this is the only thing I'm going to do. Validate my idea, build my network. I used to be in meetups from like 8 a.m. in the morning to like 12 p.m. sometimes, 12 a.m. sometimes. So, but that was like a crash course into being a founder. So just the struggle of going to people, being persistent in your approach, and, like, just learning about things, asking questions, being very vulnerable, showing your weaknesses in addition to gathering strengths, being very open to people, asking for help, which I think a lot of first-time founders like really think about. How will we ask for help? Like, how can we say, can you set a meeting with her? You can totally do that. Go to the LinkedIn, go and send a LinkedIn invite to anyone possible in the world and say that you are a first-time founder. You would love to meet for a coffee and gain insights. No one will refuse. I think founders sympathize with founders, empathize with founders as much as they can. So yeah.
I love your tenacity to say, I'm just going to make it happen. I'll just make meetings until something comes from it. For that journey then to come to where you're able to raise funds, what were some of the insights and hurdles that you're able to overcome in that process? And okay, now we've got funding, we've got something to go with that someone else can learn from.
I think accelerators really contribute to
Mm.
bridging that gap for first time founders, I would highly recommend. And we were very lucky to get into Techstars. I mean, we applied first time when we just had an idea. They rejected us, obviously, because we had not had our shit figured out. And then the second time we got through, we were very excited. And Techstars was just like a whole different journey. It was like, we felt like we were in like the Harvard for startups. But it was great because we were in this bubble where we had a full network of people that could help us. Every single mentor totally focused on solving our problems. And it was like there's this whole team working to solve our problems, not just us. So
Mm.
that kind of was a beautiful time, I think. And then I would highly recommend. I think that's kind of like one particular moment which changed our entire trajectory getting into
Mm.
stars. Yeah.
That timeline of where you said then you came and then you were networking with 3 weeks or so. Did you like first apply and then you just kept doing networking because you didn't have like what was that timeline that led to getting in and then things really turning around?
I was so new. I did not even know how many accelerators are there. So this is like a totally new founder journey I'm telling you about. Like someone who's in an enterprise and just like jumps the ship and says, I'm going to do my thing. So I had to spend a lot of time even figuring out. I applied to multiple accelerators, even in the Bay Area. Did not get through because no experience, no connections, like not even have spoken to a previous founder before. So it took time, but
But
yeah.
you didn't let rejection or the failure to stop you. You just kept pushing forward.
No, I don't know. It was like a fire. Like you feel the fire when you have it, right? So I mean, it's like it's inside you, and you're not gonna stop until you prove to yourself that you can do this. Like it's like how difficult is it gonna be? It's just like learning a new skill, right? It's like you're jumping from Java developer to, let's say, a Node.js developer. It's pretty much like that. You have to learn a new skill, you have to talk to the right people, you have to do the right things, and you might get there. So I'm still learning every day, but it's a great journey.
Getting that first client, that first customer, what was that process like?
Oh my God, that was amazing. It was, yeah, I was thrilled. We went to the Infocom conference, which happened in Vegas in May 2018. I still remember. And at that time, there was like Microsoft demonstrated their vision of intelligent meetings. There's like this awesome video that I don't know if you've seen or not, where people walk in the room. There's an intelligent device in the center, says hello, hello, and starts taking action items and stuff. But that changed the mindset of every single UC platform out there. Thinking about, oh my God, yes, that's kind of the future of meetings. It was like they showed the future right in that demo. And so it became a little easy for us now to articulate, saying that, hey, what you saw there, we provide as an API. And that was kind of like a light bulb moment for us, that this is exactly what we need to sell to. This is the exact market segment. So yeah, my outreach was always through LinkedIn. That was kind of like my base medium of outreach. I used to use LinkedIn to reach out to customers. That was the only medium, and it worked because it was very personal. It wasn't like bulk emailing 1,000 people and figuring out what to do. It wasn't cheap tricks of finding out on Twitter and like tagging some people purposely. It was really genuine outreach, and I think that's kind of how I got my first customer.
How did you identify the right people to reach out to on LinkedIn? Did you already know the exact profile within a company you were going for?
No, so this is a part of, so when I was working with Ramana Mitra, the 1M by 1M virtual incubator, they call it. So that time she has some courses, which is like, hey, just do like course 1 to 10, and they have like weekly roundtables where you come and question and they discuss and stuff. So it's pretty scalable model to work with like multiples and millions of entrepreneurs across the world. That's where I kind of like pitched ideas that this is the person I want to sell. This is what I want to learn. It was a very iterative process of learning. It's not that I just knew it from the beginning. Yeah, it took us time to understand who's the right persona and profile, and also because we were in enterprises working in product teams. So we knew that if you need to integrate an API in a product team, like who you need to reach out to, the product manager.
You already knew.
Yeah.
I love the example you gave there, though, of going back a little bit, going to a conference and using another person's future tech show of an anchor point to say, yes, this is the future. We can help you get there. That's a great way that for other people who are trying to lead the way.
Absolutely. I think startups have, even today, like we have the hardest time explaining what we do. Just in, because sometimes you will be confused with an existing player.
Mm.
Okay, probably you are like them. It's like, no, 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 that's not what we do. We do this. So, yes, it is difficult and challenging for every startup. I think story messaging so important than I ever gave it any importance to.
Mm.
That's, I think, the first thing. If you're able to articulate exactly what you do in the best possible way in a differentiating fashion, which is exactly what startups need to do. I think even before you go and identify the problem or find a perfect solution, do a competitive analysis and say what is like how will you solve the problem to differentiate yourself. So that's important.
Wow. So looking forward now, moving forward from here to realize this vision of both the near term and the long term, what hurdles do you see you're going to have to overcome in order to make that happen?
Yeah, I think we are doing a parallel work of educating the market and creating the right information flow to tell people the possibilities of using the technology in addition to making this available.
Mm.
So it's like doing both things in parallel, I think, and that is the biggest hurdle for us. So we're spending, and plus we are a team based in Seattle and also in India. So we kind of like we have been working on like a 24-hour mode because of that, just to make sure that we are as speedy as possible in the market, because like you can't escape time, right?
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, that's the biggest hurdle for us, to be able to educate and create the need in the market, or realize the possibilities that this is a solvable problem in addition to providing the actual solution.
Any immediate thoughts of like, all right, this is a good way we're going to be able to educate our market and then create that need that others can learn from?
Yeah, I mean, I have been really talking to a lot of people in Twilio, Auth0, uh, all these Stripe and different companies, to understand like when they started the company, how were they able to do it. And I think for API platforms, one very attractive approach is to kind of like either build different sample applications that shows different experiences, or build like an add-on sort of an add-on place where you can use us with this, you can use us with that. So that way people are able to like bridge the gap in their mind, and they don't have to struggle through where should I fit this in the territory.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of what we're working on.
Got it. I love this. So if people are having a hard time grasping where does your product, your option fit into, you either build a little bit of an example of an add-on of where it could be, or you build a marketplace where others can see it and connect to it.
Absolutely. And that delivers immediate value. So a downstream application like a task management system, if they build an integration to the APIs, they can clearly show the value, or we can clearly show the value with them, that hey, every time you commit to doing an action, it goes in your Trello board. So
Love it. So the faster you can show value, that really is the
absolutely.
key.
Absolutely.
Uh, as a tech leader, and you're constantly growing and innovating yourself, what books have you read recently, or audiobooks, or even podcasts that have helped give you knowledge and insight?
I think Hard Things About Hard Things and Crossing the Chasm. I think these are like my Bibles. Uh, Absolutely. I mean, I keep reading a lot of books like Hooked and For Product and things like that. But it's really like, I think every founder like must read these two books, because they will tell you like the importance of market engineering, which is a concept which is so unknown to first time founders. It is really, really elaborated well. So yeah, I also recently came across a book, Traction Gap, which is I think a good follow-on read of Crossing the Chasm. So
Action Gap.
yeah.
Okay, nice. Um, Last question I'll ask you: what kind of tech innovation do you predict we will see in the near term and long term? So next year or two, and then in the next 10 years or so.
I think our trajectory of tech innovations has changed because of COVID now, because the innovations that we would see in persons are now everything to remote. Like, how
Mm.
would you support digital certificates in medical? How would you support getting tested for these things from home where you don't have to go out to the hospitals? Telehealth will have a massive, massive innovation area, I think. Education will have a massive innovation area. I think tuition fees should be totally stopped. Everything is remote. I mean, it's free education. Like, I think there would be innovation around how to provide free education online to multiple people. I think it would be for good, for sure. But yeah, these are some of the things that I'm personally very excited about.
Well, thank you again for sharing your insight, this journey that you're on. I'm excited then to see you realize your own vision and where you're headed. Thank you again, Surbhi, for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.